The rain stops. You step out of the cave, wet ground, grey sky slowly clearing, and then you see it. A massive arc of colour stretching from one end of the horizon to the other. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. Colours you've seen individually in flowers and fire and sky, but never like this. Never all at once, never in a perfect curve, hanging in the air above the entire world, with no source you can touch or reach or explain. You have no word for what you're looking at. Nobody does yet. You've never seen anything like it, and in about 30 seconds it's going to be gone. What does your brain do with that? This question sounds simple. It's not. Because what ancient humans did when they saw a rainbow turns out to be one of the most consistent, most deeply human responses in all of prehistoric anthropology. And the fact that it's consistent across cultures that never spoke to each other, on continents that never made contact, tells us something profound about what the human brain does when it encounters something it cannot explain. Let's start with what we know for certain. The rainbow appears in the mythology of virtually every ancient culture on Earth. Not some of them, all of them. And here's what's striking. The explanations are different, but the emotional response encoded in those explanations is almost identical. Awe, power, connection to something beyond the physical world. In Australian Aboriginal belief, one of the oldest continuous belief systems on Earth, stretching back over 65,000 years, the rainbow serpent is a creator god who can be both malevolent and benevolent, a being of enormous power that created the world and still moves through it. When a rainbow appeared, it wasn't decoration. It was a god, present, visible, real. In ancient Japan, rainbows were the bridges that human ancestors took to descend to the planet. The rainbow wasn't in the sky. It was a road, a connection between wherever people came from and the world they now lived in. In Norse belief, the rainbow bridge called the Bifrost connected Earth to Asgard, the home of the gods. The souls of honorable warriors were carried across it into the afterlife. Death and rainbow connected. The most beautiful thing in the sky, marking the path between living and whatever comes next. In Gabon, in Central Africa, a belief holds that human ancestors arrived on Earth by descending on the rainbow. Origin story, creation. The rainbow as the moment humans entered the world. 6 continents, cultures with 0 contact. Same response every time. Something that powerful, that beautiful, that unexplainable must connect to something beyond us, must mean something, must be communicating something from somewhere we can't see. That's not coincidence. That's the human brain doing what the human brain evolved to do. Here's the neuroscience underneath it. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It evolved to find causes for effects, because in a world where understanding what caused something could save your life, the brain that made connections survived better than the brain that didn't. A snapped twig means something moved. Dark clouds mean rain is coming. Every effect has a cause your brain wants to identify. It's called causal reasoning, and it's one of the most fundamental features of human cognition. But a rainbow breaks causal reasoning completely. It appears after rain, but isn't rain. It has color, but isn't made of anything you can touch. It has a clear shape, a perfect arc, but no structure holding it up. It's enormous, but weightless. It appears and then vanishes with no physical trace. Your brain, trying to apply its normal cause and effect logic to a rainbow, finds nothing that fits. And when the brain encounters something it genuinely cannot explain through any existing mental model, something vast, something beautiful, something that defies every physical rule it knows. It generates the experience of awe. And in prehistoric humans, awe almost universally led to one conclusion. This came from somewhere beyond the physical world. This is why every ancient culture independently reached for the supernatural to explain the rainbow. Not because they were primitive, because they were human. Because the human brain, confronted with something it cannot categorize, reaches for the biggest explanation available. And for most of human history, the biggest explanation available was the divine. The rainbow shaped many cultures. And the remarkable thing is how the specific shape of that shaping is almost universal. The rainbow as bridge between earth and heaven, between living and dead, between humans and gods, appears on nearly every continent. A bridge you can see but not cross. A connection you can witness but not use. Something that shows you there is more, without telling you what the more is. And then there's something even more fascinating underneath all of this. The rainbow only appears when two specific conditions exist simultaneously: sunlight and rain. You can't have a rainbow in full sunshine. You can't have one in full storm. It only appears in the transition, in the moment between the end of something difficult and the return of something good. Every culture that ever watched a rainbow noticed this: rain, hardship, cold, danger, ending, sun, warmth, safety, life, returning. And exactly at that threshold, that one moment of transition, the most beautiful thing in the sky appears and then vanishes. You don't need language to feel what that means. You don't need a culture that has words for it yet. You just need to be standing outside, wet and cold from a week of rain, watching the sky clear, and then seeing that arc of color appear exactly as the world gets better. Ancient humans didn't need anyone to tell them a rainbow was significant. They felt it. The same way you feel it now, looking up at one even though you know exactly what it is. Water droplets, refracting sunlight at a specific angle, producing wavelengths of light your eye interprets as color. You know all of that. And it still stops you. It still makes you look. It still does something to your chest that a puddle of water and a sunny day, separately, would never do. That feeling is 65,000 years old at minimum, probably much older. It was there before language gave it a name, before mythology gave it a story, before religion gave it a meaning. It was just a human standing in the mud after the rain, looking up, feeling something they couldn't explain, and deciding, without words, without theology, without science, that whatever that was, it mattered. It still does.